Okay, welcome everyone. My name's Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my friend Larry. Hi, Larry.
Good morning,
Eh,
Eloisa
Good
and
morning.
Sonia.
And Sonia, my daughter Sonia. Hey, Sonia.
Hi.
So we're
Hi.
continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. We are on chapter 21, Reason and Perception, and we are on section 7. The last unanswered question. Okay, I was just reviewing the very last paragraph on the previous section, which is reason versus madness. I'm just going to read the last paragraph so we can pick up this section. I think it might be a little helpful here um, to kind of pick up the train of thought. So the last paragraph on reason versus madness talks about power. Okay. The power you have over the Son of God is not a threat to his reality, but a test to it. Where could his freedom lie but in himself if he be free already? And who could bind him but himself if he deny his freedom? God is not mocked. No more his Son can be imprisoned, saved by his own desire. And it is by his own desire that he is freed. Such is his strength and not his weakness. He is at his own mercy, and where he chooses to be merciful, there is he free. But where he chooses to condemn instead, there is he held a prisoner, waiting in chains his pardon on himself to set him free. Okay, okay, so this is speaking about the power of our own mind and the decision um, as the decision maker that we make either um, to extend mercy or love, which is forgiveness in form, o- and therefore um, act in freedom. Okay, that's what free will is. The extension of love. That's when we are truly free to be our true self. Okay, but where we choose to condemn instead, so this is where we condemn, we judge, we blame, we uh what's the word? We demand punishment or revenge or that kind of thing. There he is held a prisoner, okay, waiting in chains, his pardon on himself to set him free because giving is receiving. So what we give to others, either mercy or condemnation, is what we are offering and giving to ourselves. Okay, does that make sense, Larry? In this paragraph,
Yes,
that is
yes.
the power of our mind. Either, we bring freedom, which is the same as love, or we bring imprisonment, which is the same as hate, condemnation, attack, all of that, violence, all of that, right? Okay. Um, and then
And we have the power to choose.
we have the power to choose, yes. And
That's yeah,
and that's and that's the power that we have over ourselves. Um,
correct.
okay, so okay, next section. So here we go. Section 7, the last unanswered question. Go ahead and read it, Sonia.
Do you not see that all your misery comes from the strange belief that you are powerless? Being helpless is the cost of sin. Helplessness is sin's condition, the one requirement that it demands to be believed. Only the helpless could believe in it. Enormity has no appeal save to the little, and only those who first believe that they are little could see attraction there. Treachery to the Son of God is the defense of those who do not identify with him. and you are for him, and you are for him or against him. Either you love him or attack him, protect his unity or see him shattered and slain by your attack.
Okay, so it does tie to the previous paragraph. Do you see the thread a little bit there, Sonia? The previous paragraph we read had to do with power, right? The power of our mind. And here it's talking about powerlessness, the belief that we are powerless. Okay, in the previous paragraph, we just agreed that our mind is the decision maker and powerful, and it has the power to decide for love or for condemnation, which is attack and fear. Okay, so this is saying now what?
That we're not a victim.
That we're not a victim. And what happens when we believe that we are powerless?
We blame and condemn an external thing for all of our problems.
Yeah. And so
Or,
it's a
yeah.
loop. It's a loop, right? Because once
Mm.
you condemn and blame, you're going to hold on to this strange belief that we are powerless and that we are a victim. And the result is misery. Okay. All your misery, suffering, pain comes from the strange belief that you are powerless. Okay. Being helpless is the cost of sin. Okay. Sin is another word for attack. So when we are not showing love and mercy and forgiveness, we are deciding for for fear, for condemnation, for attack, for sin. And that has a cost. When we decide for the ego thought system, which is a thought system of attack and condemnation, because it separates and divides, when we decide for that thought system, okay, we are going to see ourselves as powerless because of what you just said. We see an external world separate from ourselves that we forget we made and see it as the victimizer, as the attacker. Okay. And and so line 4 says that only the helpless could believe in it. And then line 5 is talking about enormity has no appeal save to the little. Okay, so once we believe we are helpless, we're seeing ourselves as what? Little, right? Right? Because the powerless and the helpless would have to see themselves as little. And then they would have to look at the victimizer as big or enormous or, I can't handle it. I'm overwhelmed because the problem is so big or the attacker is so big or whatever. Sin is so big that I can't, I see myself as little in comparison. So it's talking about enormity. So that the enormity has no appeal save to the little. So once we see our once we see ourselves as little and powerless, we're actually going to be attracted to enormity in the world, to what we consider power in the world. Because we're going to believe that we are little and we need to make ourselves more powerful in order to survive, right? So that's the attraction
True.
to maybe a position of of power, maybe in government or in an army, to be a general, to wield more control, um, or maybe for a lot of money to have control over more resources, we would look for what represents to us in the world the idea of power, whether it's position, money, maybe physical attractiveness. You know, maybe we want to we want to be an influencer and we want to have a following, and that would be a form of power, that kind of thing. So that's what the enormity here is talking about. And six, and only those who first believe that they are little could see attraction there. So it's really talking about what what draws our attention and what pulls us in the world, what is attractive to us in the world, and what we automatically or unconsciously uh, pursue, you know, as a driver, as a uh, you know, kind of like the get rich quick schemes, you know, or well, yeah, that kind of stuff. Um, okay, so the attraction there. So treachery to the Son of God is the defense of those who do not identify with him. So the Son of God here is all capitalized. So we're talking about the creation of God, how God created us. Okay, and if we're denying, if we are believing that we are powerless, we are denying how God created us. Because how did God create us? How did God create our mind?
Perfect.
What?
Whole and perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You just cut off for a little bit. It's whole and
Okay.
perfect, but also powerful, right? Because God shared the power of creation with the Son of God. That's the only way you can create is a like for like. So you share the quality to what you create. That's the only way that creation follows. Even in the world, you know, a lemon tree can only generate seeds that produce lemon trees. It can't produce avocados, that kind of thing. So, um, yes, and so here it's basically saying what it was saying in the previous paragraph, right? It's either condemnation or mercy. So here, line 8, and you are either for him, which would be mercy, or you are against him, condemnation. Either you love him or you attack him. Okay? So if you protect his unity, if we protect the oneness of the Son of God, and recognize that we're all equal in the same creation, uh, then that's what mercy is. Or we're going to see him shattered and slain by our attack because we're going to see him as we're going to see a world of fragmented people that are, you know, fighting because they're different. They're not the same. So we're going to see a creation uh, that is not a true reflection of how God created us, but basically a projection of the belief in separation, which is an illusion, which is not true because it is not in alignment with the truth of our source that is completely loving and perfect. Okay? Any comments, Larry?
I just, yeah, I do. Just one short one is, I know without any question how powerful we are, and I know that we have freedom to choose, and how we choose actually, uh, affects the outcome. And I like Sonia's comments about I don't look at myself because I know that I don't look at myself as a victim, and so
Oh, I think you cut off, Larry. I think your volume cut off there.
Cut off.
Oh, he froze.
His internet might have cut out, or like the
Okay.
connection.
All right.
hey, are you there? Hello.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah.
Larry. We lost yeah, the connection. So
Yeah,
what were you
I
saying?
think something happened. I'm not sure where it got cut off, but I know that, like Sonia was talking about, we think that we're victims, and I never look at myself as a victim, but what I know as we're talking about this is that I do make choices. I am free, and I am powerful in the decisions I make, and I am one with God. But I forget that I'm powerful, or or ignore it without thinking. And so, um, for me, it's just a reminder that knowing something and doing it is two different things. And so, what you're talking about is the effects of it. And I do look at trying to be better because I think less of myself because I think I'm a victim, and I'm not
Hmm.
really a victim. I know that, but
Yeah.
it's strange how it all works together. And it isn't because I don't know, it isn't that I haven't learned, it's that I forget. It's this, there's the 365 lessons. The text is very complete, workbook for students, other kinds of things. There's a lot of stuff to be able to be the place where you're at, uh,
Yeah. So
where it's all understandable in the moment. But for me, it's like I, if I snap at somebody, it's because they did something instead of seeing a call for love. It would be nice to say, oh, wow, that's a call for love. I don't take what
yes,
they said
yes,
hurtfully.
but even after you snap at someone, right? You recognize the misery that you're experiencing.
Sometimes not. Sometimes I
Okay.
like to think I'm a victim, like Sonia was saying. I say I'm a victim
Okay.
and
Yeah.
woe is me. Yeah, instead of I created that myself.
Yeah, we do. We like to wallow in
Yeah.
misery. And then
That's
misery
correct.
loves company. So we seek others that wallow in misery. And now we just stay stuck there. Okay. And that's
And you
fine.
feel yeah, and
Yeah.
you feel pain and
Yeah.
you feel a lack of peace, and you say, "Wow, I got to see this differently." And then all of a
Eh,
sudden, you wake up a little bit,
There you
and
go.
then you get back
Okay.
there.
There
So
you go. Yes.
yeah,
So ultimately, we do come back. And that's what mind training
yes,
is. That's all that mind training
yeah,
is that we have to keep repeating this until we finally, bring it closer and closer and closer to where we uh, make that little gap of misery shorter and shorter and shorter. Yeah.
exactly. It used to take me years, tens of years, in order to figure something out. Then years, then months, then weeks. Now sometimes I can do it in a matter of hours.
There you go.
I haven't got to the place of instantly yet. No instant recognition yet, though. But the
Okay.
progress has been good, so that's good.
Yes. So that's where some of the, I'm grateful because I learned the EFT, the tapping, and I apply it every time I get to misery. I recognize right away that that needs to be released. So then I just develop a habit of automatically looking at it. And it's the same as, looking at the error with the Holy Spirit and then releasing it. So it's just a practice. And there are techniques that can help us speed it up, but the process is the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and read
And
number
one
two.
of the techniques is Course in Miracles. Okay.
Exactly.
I can't see it on the screen.
You can't see the
You
screen.
have it's no, it's uh, I see.
Do you see
No, it's
paragraph
not on
two?
my screen yet. Just a second.
Okay.
Just a second. Here it comes. Yeah, now I do.
Okay.
Two.
Two.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, wow. Okay, paragraph two. No one believes the Son of God is powerless, and those who see themselves as helpless must believe that they are not the Son of God. What can they what can they be except his enemy? And what can they do but envy him his power, and by their envy make themselves afraid of it? These are the dark ones, silent and afraid, alone and not communicating, fearful the power of God, power fearful the power of the Son of God will strike them dead, and raising up their helplessness against him. They join the army of the powerless to wage their war of vengeance, bitterness, and spite on him, to make him one with them, because they do not know that they are one with him. They know not whom they hate. They are indeed a sorry army, each one as likely to attack his brother or turn upon himself as to remember that they thought they had a common cause. Uh, that's that everything in there sounds like that's not me. That's not me. I'm cured, except then get down to the last sentence or something, or last couple sentences. And I know I'm one with God, and I know that God is not against me, and I know God is powerful, and I know I'm powerful. Uh, However, I do attack a brother or sister on occasion, and turn uh, and and when I do, I forget that we have a common cause of oneness and seeing the goodness in each other and supporting each other. Uh, so yeah, that's just a woe are those who don't believe in God or the power of it. And I'm not there. I believe in the power. I believe we are powerful,
Hmm. Yeah.
and
So,
I don't have any vengeance against them or stuff. And so
hmm, yeah. So this is talking
easy
about,
one for me.
okay. So this paragraph here, line 6, they joined the army of the powerless to wage their war of vengeance. So this is talking about what I mentioned earlier, that misery loves company. So a lot of times we
Yes,
see
yes,
people that come together because of a common enemy or of a common hate. Okay, so there are people that will join others as a collective um, to attack. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's a race issue or whether it's a nationalist identification or whether it's a religious, there's been a lot of history shows us that collectives or tribes war against each other um, because they have come together as a common with a common purpose and uh, to attack the enemy, right? That's why line 8 says they are indeed a sorry army. You see, each one is likely to. So what happens is that when you have that kind of coming together of, and it's basically our egos, okay, coming together because they think that they can attack as a collective rather than, that individually they're powerless, but if they come together, then they think they can, you know, uh, they're more powerful. But what happens here is that line 8, they are indeed a sorry army. Each one is likely to attack his brother or turn upon himself. And that's the problem with the ego identity, is that there is no love in that ego identity. And because there is no love, those groups will turn against themselves ultimately. And so, yeah, to turn against himself as to remember that they thought they had a common cause. Uh, okay, so yeah. So once we believe, okay, I'm sorry to say this, but once we believe that we are sinners, that we have changed the way that God created us. And unfortunately, history shows us that a lot of wars are, fought from a religious point of view, um, based on the idea of sin. So, um, once we believe that we are not the Son of God, once we believe that we have changed how God created us and are no longer as God created us, which is loving and innocent and whole and perfect and with free will, with a powerful mind that has free will to decide, then 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 that is a turning away from the truth, uh, and that's line 4. And what can they do but envy him his power, and by their envy make themselves afraid of it? So that's where the fear of love comes in. Is that once you see yourself as a victim and powerless and little, you're going to project the power and see it in, another group, another race, another gender, another whatever, and you're going to envy that, but also see it as your opponent or your enemy and be afraid of it. It's kind of really telling us what happens in a social fabric of uh, of of people that let's see, that are believing in separation. That's just kind of describing the situation.
If
Okay,
if people
yeah.
believe, if people are causing separation or doing things that are evil or bad, and maybe there is no such thing as that, there is such thing as God's mercy, and there is such thing as justice, I would think too, right?
Okay, but
Or is there
God's,
no such thing as justice and mercy?
but Larry, this is
Justice
talking about,
for
okay, where's the mercy coming from? Because you said God's mercy, and this is telling
coming from
us
within myself, the judgments I make and how I live.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we are the ones that are either
But
offering the
but
mercy of God.
correct, but what happens if someone doesn't have the mercy of God and they're seeing separation and they think that
Everybody has
we
the
should kill
mercy.
all kinds of people because
Larry, how can
we got to
someone,
make our right everybody see the way that we believe.
no, no. First of all,
Not me, but what somebody else sees.
okay, so let's be clear first, Larry. Okay, is it possible, let's use reason. Is it possible to be without the mercy of God?
No.
No, because God is perfectly loving and does not discriminate, loves everyone equally. Okay, if we believe that's possible, if we believe it's possible to be without the mercy of God, we are believing it's possible to be separate from creative God, creative love. So, right off the bat, it's our own belief in separation that we are following and not the truth. We're not following.
What about other people's belief in separation? Like
What about it?
Sonia, what if she thinks, well, I should be judgmental, and they did wrong, and they should be put away, and then she says that, and our whole family is going to be doing things that are going to rectify all that bad things, and she doesn't recognize that she's exactly attacking.
That's fine.
So that's
Oh,
okay too.
well, that's fine because what is going to be the result of that? It's paragraph 1 right here. Do you see that all your misery comes from the strange belief that you are powerless? So the minute we believe we are separate, we are saying that we are powerless because we have just separated from power. That's what God is.
Then that would be God's justice
It's
if there
not
was such
God's
a thing.
justice because God just offers us total mercy the whole time. God is not giving us misery. We are deciding to follow the beliefs that we invented, that we made up. Those are not God's beliefs. And those lead to misery. That's the natural consequence of believing in separation. And it's our decision. God gave us a free will. God gave us a decision-making mind. So,
Well,
whatever,
I agree with you, and I know that. And
okay.
what happens in the world where there's people that kill other people, or people who steal, or people who don't take care of those in need and something? And
Okay,
uh,
but that is a
there's a
world.
lot of that in this world that we see it in the human body that probably doesn't exist.
There you go, Larry. There you go. Does the
So
body
I'm worrying about
exist?
what isn't there.
Exactly. Exactly. God's not worrying about it because did not create the body. The body is
Or
a
other people's
projection.
body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Son of God
Okay,
with,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
the Son of God, capital
I give
S,
up.
is
Yeah.
safe with God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no, good, good question. All right, number three. Frantic and loud and strong, the dark ones seem to be, yet they know not, quote unquote, their enemy, except they hate him. In hatred they have come together, but have not joined each other. For had they done so, hatred would be impossible. The army of the powerless must be disbanded in the presence of strength. Those who are strong are never treacherous, because they have no need to dream of power and to act out their dream. How would an army act in dreams? Any way at all. It could be seen attacking anyone with anything. That's just what you were saying, Larry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, dreams have no reason in them. A flower turns into a poisoned spear. A child becomes a giant, and a mouse roars like a lion. And love is turned to hate as easily. This is no army, but a madhouse. What seems to be a planned attack is bedlam. Okay, so this pretty much addressed the question that you had, Larry, and that's why we don't want to judge what happens in the world. We don't want to judge what we see in the world, okay? Because it's like judging the dream that we had last night. What would be the point
Well, yeah.
of judging
Well,
the dream you had last night?
I know my dreams aren't true.
Exactly. And what we see in the world is a projection of the beliefs in separation, which are not true. Okay. Because that's not the real world. Yeah, Sonia?
I'm not sure if this is relevant, Larry, but I think what I'm getting from you is that if you're witnessing like to all of these like horrible things, like yeah, say there's people with all these beliefs that want to kill certain races of groups or whatever. Um, I think there's a difference between what Eloisa is saying. You don't have to be heartless, is what I'm saying. I feel like it's not like that. Like if I saw like a let's say a cat on the street dying, well, of course I'm gonna go help it. I'm not gonna be heartless, but I'm also not gonna. I don't want to look at it and say, oh, that this is real. Like this is an actual thing that is serious. But I'm gonna help it out of the love of my heart. There's no, but I think the issue is not judging it. It's hard not to judge it and have a reaction to it when you're seeing all this hatred and violence in terms of that. Um, but if the body isn't real, the body isn't there, well, it's just a dream. I'm not actually looking at a cat dying. It's just a dream. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to have love or compassion for it or try to do something if maybe I feel the need to. But I'm not going to, I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm not even sure if that's what you're
It
trying to
does.
get at. Okay.
It does make sense. I think the Course of Miracles says that everything's already been done, and these are just a dream that we're reliving.
Hmm.
And the dream is, what we haven't learned or what isn't true, but it's just a dream instead of the reality. And so uh, it would be appropriate when I see things that are happening, just say, "Wow, that's a dream." But the thing is I can bend over and help the cat, but what do I do? And how for me it's hard because I guess I have some identification with the body and the ego of doing something, and that's what's really hard to say. They're stealing, but they're not really stealing. It's just they're dealing with their stuff, or it's not even happening. and or I don't even see it, and it's hard. It's really hard
Okay, okay, but
to get in
Larry,
that place and not helping the cat.
okay,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay. So once we recognize, okay, that everything that I see is my perception, okay, then and that it's coming from what I believe, okay. The whole purpose now is for the healing of my mind, because if everything is in my mind, that what I'm seeing in the news, whatever shows up in my perception, okay, is really something that I am believing. Okay, so I have the opportunity now to heal any kind of reaction that I have to what I'm seeing in the world, because that reaction is very valuable feedback, because it's telling me information about my own unhealed aspects of my past, because that's what's going to catch my attention in the world. You understand, of all the everything that's going on in the world. I mean, look at all of the news that shows up on the internet, okay? I'm only going to be able to pick up a few things here and there, okay? So perception is selective, and it's not a coincidence. I mean, it's not random that what I pick up, because someone else is going to pick up something different. Okay, it means that that's the meaning that I'm holding in my mind, because that's the interpretation that is getting what's the word, activated for me to look at and to see. So if I see, violence, if I happen to catch some event in the news, okay, and it brings up a lot of fear, or it brings up whatever the emotion is that it brings up, it means that I need to look at that, because I'm believing something that is not true there. Okay. And it's giving me a very valuable feedback about what that belief might be, because it's metaphorically, metaphorically speaking, it will tell me what my belief is if I really look at it and sit with it. Okay. And then I can correct it. I can give it to the Holy Spirit and see that that is an error. So let me see if I can give you an example. So let's see. So what I do in my daily experience is I notice the patterns of the things that are showing up for me now, because they have themes. And if I can pick up the theme, I have a really good chance of releasing that strange belief. So, for example, yesterday there were little things that were showing up. Okay, like when I was riding down to the class on Thursday, I'm taking the train now, and then I take my little electric bike and I come up, okay, from the train station. And yesterday, and I've been doing it for 3 weeks, and now this time, and I've never had any kind of thing, but this time there was a couple walking by, and someone was walking their dog, and as I went by, the dog kind of, dashed almost in front of me, kind of went after me, right? But the guy caught it. So, and nothing happened. I said hi to him, he said hi to me, but the dog kind of went after me for a little bit. And then I went further down, and then I noticed that there was a woman just walking down the shopping center, where the gas station is right there. And she had kind of like a bag, and at first I didn't really think anything, except that as I got closer, I heard her really talking to herself, and she was really upset. And then before I got close to her, she's like kicking this one of those signs there, the parking sign. She's kicking it. And, and then as I go by, I see that she's really distressed. I mean, she's crying, but she's really angry. And I go by and I'm like, well, that's interesting. you know. And then I get to class, and I'm in class, and then a couple of things happen in class. And So then I come back home and I have to sit with that. And I'm like, well, that was that was interesting. There's a little bit of a common theme there, you know. And so I notice that and I start tapping on it because I want to see what is showing up. And it so happened that what I had been clearing, the themes that I'm clearing, it had to do with revenge. Okay. So I was still in the middle of clearing the revenge and the hatred, you know. And so sure enough, these little things just pop up, you know. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I better keep clearing that because there's still more stuff there. So that's basically the feedback that I take from these little incidents that show up for me. Um, because it's telling me that, okay, there's still something there that needs healing. And so it gives me the opportunity to really look at that a little more in depth. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I have to look at my beliefs. I've been changing, like, I believe stuff from the 1940s and 1950s and 1960s and 1970s and 1980s, 2000s, 2010s, and they're all different periods of time. And yet each one of them, I had belief systems in each of them that, I don't know, do people exist without beliefs? I mean, as a, it's like I say, well, that sounds good. That I believe this. And then all of a sudden I say, well, that's a false belief. And it's almost like if you have beliefs, that's part of perception forming. Or if you didn't have beliefs, maybe is it possible to live without beliefs?
Yeah,
Or
it
is it,
is. That's what the course says, because beliefs are part of perception
so how do you let them
and
go?
judgment.
I've never had one moment without a belief in my entire life. I can't conceive of a life without beliefs of some sort,
Okay, but
because that's what
remember,
drives us.
okay, but oh, there you go. Drives. Okay. So beliefs are drivers, okay?
Correct.
And so what we do unconsciously is we are driven by our beliefs. And now what we
In
do
a good
is
way, in a good way too. Not just bad.
uh well no, see the thing is that beliefs are really decisions of what we want to see in the world. They're not really good or bad. They're either true or they're false. Okay? Because once you get into morality, you get into right and wrong. Okay? But that's all based on judgment. Okay. And the course is saying that the only true judge is the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit does not judge right and wrong. The Holy Spirit judges either love or a call for love. Do you see that?
I hear it.
Do you hear, but do you see the difference there?
Uh,
In that the
well,
judge,
instead of thinking, well, I'm going to be loving and kind to everybody I see today, I should be thinking I'm going to be extending love, or listening for a call for love.
no, the Holy Spirit
And
judgment
then
does is not morality, okay? Morality is a system of judgment, okay? And it varies from culture to culture. So it's part of the world of duality, okay? Because beliefs, you like you said yourself, I've changed my beliefs. I can see that this is no longer true, and
correct.
then, I believe this. So anything that changes is not of eternity, is not created by God. So the truth and absolute knowledge is beyond the level of belief. Okay. Belief is still part of perception because that's what drives and selects what we want to see. And we decide what we want to believe. So either we're going to believe the thoughts of love or we're going to believe the thoughts of separation and the ego and fear. And that's the basic decision. That's the only real decision we ever make. Okay. And
But you live your life, and you're doing your stuff for your family and yourself, and you're making decisions all day long.
yeah, but it's not based on right and wrong. Okay. It's based on, is it coming from love or is it coming from fear?
It's coming from a drive inside of you.
Yeah, but the drive you just said comes from my beliefs. So now I have to look at what is the belief that's driving this? And is that belief coming from love or is it coming from fear?
Simplify it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because if the belief is, no, I got to go to work and make money because otherwise I'm going to die and I can't survive. That's coming.
Or I got to make money so that Sonia has a home to live in and she can go to school and help her with her life. It'd be good reasons for it.
Well, they're good
Not
reasons, but they may be good reasons. You're judging them good reasons, but they're coming from
judging good or
fear.
bad. Yeah.
They're
Well,
coming from fear.
or responsibility.
Well, yes, but again,
What do
what
I
you're
say? God will
saying,
provide. I don't have to worry about it.
of course,
Oh man.
of course, God is the only provider. If you want to make
Oh man,
yourself,
I got a problem. Please forgive me, God, for I've sinned.
if you want to take
Okay.
the place of God and put yourself in the throne as provider, that's fine, but there's only one creator and one provider. I mean, ultimately, you know the story of Saint Francis of Assisi.
We gave everything
That's
away to
well, yes. And why did he do that? Who
help
was,
the poor.
well,
God will
yeah,
take
but
care of
he
them.
recognized that God provided for the
Everything we
birds,
need.
for the bees, why would God not provide for us?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a big part of the message of Saint Francis. So,
Well, I thought he did it for us because he helped us along with what we wanted to do. That he was nudging us along with what we needed to do. And so, but it was what, some people don't need to have money and some people want to. Anyway, I've extended enough. You're right. I have to look at love or fear
mhm.
and let go of everything else. And that's hard because my belief system is quite expensive.
Well, yeah, everyone's is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of our past learning and conditioning. So,
Yeah.
okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Uh-huh. Number 4, Sonia.
That was my turn.
I think so. I think I went just a little while ago or whatever. I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. Number 4. The army of the powerless is weak indeed. It has no weapons and it has no enemy. Yes, it can overrun the world and seek an enemy, but it can never find what is not there. Yes, it can dream it found an enemy, but this will shift even as it attacks, so that it runs at once to find another and never comes to rest in victory. And as it runs, it turns against itself, thinking it caught a glimpse of the great enemy who always eludes its murderous attack by turning into something else. How treacherous does this enemy appear, who changes so it is impossible even to recognize him?
hmm why does it say that it has no weapons and it has no enemy? Do you remember what it said up here earlier?
Because it's powerless. I mean,
Yes, because the enemy we judge, we make up the enemy, okay? Um, let's see. Uh, where did it talk about
it's a dream, it's hallucinated. A flower turns into a poison spear. Yeah, it's all made up.
yes, so okay. So it's an imaginary thing. It's images, it's dreams. It's a dream because it's made up of images of imagination. That is unreality. And that's what fear is. It puts us in our wrong mind, which is not reason. It's unreasonable. Um, so it can dream it found an enemy, but this will shift even as it attacks. Actually, it reminds me a lot of allergies, of the autoimmune system. Because the autoimmune system, I've worked with allergies, and what I found in working with specific allergies, like someone that had an severe allergy to cats, is that the cat actually became the quote unquote allergen or the enemy, okay, because it was a misplaced upset from the past where her mother-in-law and father-in-law had cats, and they visited them on holidays when she really didn't want to be there. She wanted to be with her parents, but they always ended up going to their in-laws. So there was some unconscious resentment there. And because she she buried that, she didn't look at that. She didn't acknowledge it because she said, my in-laws were really great people. So it was almost like, gee, I don't want to be with them, but I have no real reason for not wanting to be with them. So she kind of buried that resentment, and it showed up in the association to the cat. So she developed an allergy to cats. Cats became the enemy and the threat. So it reminds me of how the autoimmune system then turns against itself. And we have a lot of the autoimmune, illnesses showing up. Uh, yeah. Okay, number 5, Larry.
Number 5, yet hate, yet hate must have a target. There can be no faith in sin without an enemy. Who that believes in sin would dare believe he has no enemy? Who that believes in sin would dare believe he has no enemy? Could he admit that no one made him powerless? Reason would surely bid him seek no longer what is not there to find. Yet first he must be willing to perceive a world where it is not. It is not necessary that he understand how he can see it, nor should he try, for he focuses on what he cannot understand. He will but emphasize his helplessness and let sin tell him that his enemy must be himself. But let him only ask himself these questions, which he must decide to have it done for him. Do I, um, can you up the screen a little
Oh,
bit?
oh yes.
Do I desire a world I rule instead of one that rules me? Yes. Do I desire a world where I am powerful instead of helpless? Yes. Do I desire a world in which I have no enemies and cannot sin? Yes. And do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? And understand.
Hmm.
Well, it's I have, like from the previous paragraph, I have a really wild and huge imagination, and I always thought that was a gift, but it might be a curse, as I uh, see things that aren't really there, even in my imagination, without dreaming. They seem real, and um, I guess what I'm seeing in this is that what I'm seeing isn't really there, and yet
Yeah.
I'm making all kinds of decisions about what is not there,
Yeah.
and I really want to understand why things are. And knowing is another one of my faults, is that I don't feel comfortable not knowing something, and yet I can't understand it. I can't, even if I tried,
Hmm.
and that's just the way it is. And
Yes. So, Larry, that's line 7. Okay. It is not necessary that he understand how he can
right,
see it. Now, I remember growing up in school, that's the way that we learn things. And I remember thinking to myself, well, yeah, I want to learn as much as I can in school because that's going to teach me about the world. And then I can put all the pieces together and I'll be able to understand the world.
yeah,
Okay. And I considered that to be knowledge. Okay.
me
All
too.
right. Now, now here's the problem. Okay. The world is not there.
Right,
So I'm
yeah,
trying to understand something that's not there. And it's actually a projection of what I want to see. So anything that I see, I'm actually putting there. So I have to go to my mind to be, if I want to understand the world, I have to go to my mind, not to the external world that is not there. So then I have to go back and look at, okay, what am I believing here that is then getting projected so that I see it out here? So we have to reverse the process to bring everything back to the level of the mind, which is the causal level. Okay. And once I look at that and I can see that that is an error, then the part of my mind, which is the light of truth, the Holy Spirit, that is what will clear that belief or heal the error. Okay. And it is not necessary that understand how he can see it. Okay. Nor should he try. Okay. Because if we do try to understand what's in the world now, we're focusing, that's line 9, on what he cannot understand, and he will but emphasize his helplessness. Okay. And let sin tell him that his enemy must be himself, because then I'm going to turn against myself and say, I must be really dumb because I can't understand the world. It
Bingo.
doesn't make
Right.
any sense to
That's
me.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And so this is what it's recommending here. Let him only ask the questions here, which must be decide. Okay. So, which he must decide to have it done for him. So, in other words, if we ask the questions, and this is the little willingness that we give the Holy Spirit, so that our mind is healed, so that we can see with holy vision, and then therefore see the real world.
And the real world is a spiritual world, not this material world that we live in, because there
Yes,
is no real.
yes.
And that becomes even a bigger mystery to understand than the world that we created.
Well, we don't need to understand it.
I
That's
know
what
it, but
it
I'd
says
like to.
here.
I'd like to
Well, no,
though.
but it says which he must decide to have it done for him. Okay. That understanding is already in our higher mind. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be accomplished. It's already been accomplished.
And I
Okay.
think didn't it say at the end of the Course in Miracles someplace, and then when you get to that place, and then the Holy Spirit will take you the rest of the way for your understanding of what is,
Yeah.
or something
Hmm.
like that. Yeah.
Or God, or you mean the last step is taken by God?
Yeah. Last step is
Hmm.
taken by
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
To knowledge. Yeah. Yep.
You know those four questions that are there is like I do desire uh, a world that I rule instead of the one that rules me. But when I rule, I'm ruling from a false perceptions and stuff. So that's I have to be careful with that one. And I desire a world where I'm powerful instead of helpless. I'm not helpless, and I have to remember humility is important too, that I'm powerful, but I'm not changing this world. I'm just changing myself. And each one of these, it says desire a world. It isn't the material world, it's the inner world. I think that is talking about,
It's
which is tricky for me because I read that as saying, I desire a world, this world that you and I are communicating on right now. And that's not what it's talking about, I think.
Well, it is talking about it because remember that Holy Spirit vision sees a holy world because we're coming from our holy mind.
There is no world. It can't be holy. That isn't there. Can't be sinful. Can't be holy.
It is a reflection of holiness, which as long as we have a body, as long as we think that we have a body, okay, uh, the instrument of communication will see a world. Either it's going to see a world of innocence, Holy Spirit vision, or it's going to see a world of condemnation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good.
okay, number 6. Okay, you may already have answered the first 3 questions, but not yet the last. And the last is, and do I want to see what I denied? Because it is the truth. Okay. For this one still seems fearful and unlike the others. Yet reason would assure you they are all the same. We said this year would emphasize the sameness of things that are the same. This final question, which is indeed the last you need to decide, still seems to hold a threat the rest have lost for you. And this imagined difference attests to your belief that truth may be the enemy you yet may find. Here then would seem to be the last remaining hope of finding sin and not accepting power. Okay, so the difficulty that we would have with the last question here, um, would be holding, let's see, would be holding the fear of finding sin and not accepting power. Okay. Okay. So, some of the lessons talk about sickness, and sickness, it says that is a denial of truth. Okay. So insanity is sickness. It's a denial of truth. The ego thought system is a sickness of, it's an insane thought system. So it is where all sickness originates. Um, okay. And eh, okay, because it's a denial of truth. So do I want to see what I denied? Okay. And do I want to see it because it is the truth? So, uh, okay. So why would I deny something? Okay, if someone says, okay, is your name Eloisa Ramos? And I deny it. No. No, that's not my name. Okay. Okay. I'm denying that. Why would I deny that? I'm basically lying, right? Why would I lie?
You're fearful of something.
Exactly. I want to hide something. I want to hide my identity. Okay, I want to hide the truth. Okay. And the the fear of being open is the reason behind that denial. Okay. So so if I'm afraid that that being truthful, yes, that's who I am, what why do you want to know? Um, uh, uh, that means when I'm truthful and I don't hide anything, I don't deny anything, then I am not fearful anymore because I'm saying, okay, hey, I'm innocent. I haven't done anything. I have no reason to be afraid. So fear is always tied to some kind of guilt, okay? Some kind of belief in sin that I did something wrong, that I might get in trouble, that this person might be a threat to Eloisa Ramos in some way. Okay. So uh, s- so I'm still protecting that fear, sin, and guilt in there. Okay. So, so if I stop protecting fear, sin, and guilt, then it is because I really want to know the truth and I'm not afraid of the truth. I'm not believing in separation anymore. I'm not believing in sin, guilt, or fear. Uh, let's see. Yeah. So 6 says yeah, it attests to your belief that truth may be the enemy you yet may find. So a lot of times we have it reversed. We think that what we are in truth is sinful and therefore guilty. And and therefore we would perceive the truth as an enemy that we do not want to find. Okay. Uh, there's other places where the course says, you're afraid you are the home of, evil and sin and that's the fear of redemption. So, and so and so we are protecting the idea of not accepting power. Here then 7, here then would seem to be the last remaining hope of finding sin and not accepting power. That's the line 14. Okay. To be afraid of the truth is because, we're protecting our belief that we are sinful, and therefore we would not be accepting the power of our mind because we would be seeing ourselves as little, as separate from power and from God, and therefore protecting the identity of being a victim and being helpless. Um, and and yeah, I mean the inner journey entails this last question here, because if we want to uh, learn the truth, if we're seeking the truth, which is what the spiritual journey is, we have to be willing to let go of that fear of looking at our own beliefs about our worst judgments that we have of ourselves. We have to be willing to look at that. Um, okay, number 7. Sonia?
Forget not that the choice of sin or truth, helplessness or power, is the choice of whether to attack or heal. For healing comes of power, and attack of helplessness. Whom you attack, you cannot want to heal, and whom you would have healed must be the one you chose to be protected from attack. And what is this decision but the choice whether to see him through the body's eyes or let him be revealed to you through vision? How this decision leads to its effects is not your problem, but what you want to see must be your choice. This is a course in cause and not effect.
Mhm. Okay, so this is Sonia. What is it saying here?
In the first sentence,
Yeah, just overall. Yeah.
basically that you want to you're in charge of how you see your brother, and it's basically salvation. I mean, either you want to attack them and is attacking yourself, or you want to heal them and heal your own mind. I mean, your own mind.
Hmm. Yeah. And
But
so,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
no, I was just saying the last sentence is interesting because it's saying basically that you're not concerned of what happens in the world or like the effects that come from your change in mind. You're just concerned with the cause that's in your mind of how you're perceiving your brother, essentially.
Hmm. Hmm. Because that's where the error is, and that's where the correction happens, is at the level of the cause. Okay. If we try to change the effects in the world, if we try to change our behavior or the behavior of other people, we're not going to the cause. We're trying to change the results which show up in behavior. Okay. And it's not going to work that way because you can try to train a child, for example, or your dog, for example, through conditioning, okay, to behave in a certain way. Okay. But if they don't, but if the mind is not changed, the belief level is not changed, okay, um, or if the belief is not in alignment with the behavior, there's going to be internal conflict there, and the behavior is not going to be consistent. Okay. So the course always addresses the level of the mind because that is where the power of the mind resides. That's where we can change our perception, how we see things with our decision, our choice, right? The first line, forget not that the choice of sin or truth, helplessness or power is the choice of whether to attack or heal. So, the previous section, the last paragraph we read there was talking about our decision for mercy or for condemnation, and that is part of the decision-making power of our mind. And so, so here it's basically just using different words for the uh, same decision. It's either sin or truth, helplessness or power. Mm. And that is a choice between attack or healing of the mind. Okay, so so it's good to recognize that the end result is either attack or healing, because we all want healing. Who would rather have attack? Because we know that to be sick, to not to be unhealthy, to feel bad, uh, to be suffering, to be in pain, to be miserable. We all understand that that's not what we want ultimately. I mean, granted, we can even turn that around and believe, right, that no pain is gain. So therefore, we have a tolerance and value pain. We can do that to some extent, but there's a point beyond which suffering is a necessary expedient to say, I want to see this differently because I don't want to have this experience continue. You know, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And that's when we look for another way because we want to change our mind. That's the willingness that the Holy Spirit needs for helping us to heal our mind. So, um, yeah. And so it's just making it very clear that it's either, we can't have it both ways. That's line 3. Whom you attack, you cannot want to heal. Okay. And whom you want to have healed must be the one you chose to be protected from attack. Yes, because health healing is inner peace. Um, and inner peace is protection from attack, right? Because love is safety. Now, a lot of us have learned it and turned that upside down. And for the ego, attack is safety. Okay. And so, therefore, it is afraid of love. So, it has turned it completely upside down. Um, yes. But ultimately, that's because we're seeing with the body's eyes. So, anytime we're seeing with the body's eyes, we have things turned upside down. It's not a coincidence that, science will tell you that in the retina, the object that you see is actually turned upside down. It's a symbolically, you know, there. Um, yeah, or let him be revealed to you through vision. Yeah. So there's two ways of seeing. One is seeing through Holy Spirit vision, which is the thoughts of God, and the other one is seeing through the body's eyes, which is seeing through the ego's thought system of separation. And the results, there's going to be different results, but how this decision leads to those results is not our problem. Okay, we don't want to focus on the projection of on the results. Okay, we want to bring it back to the level of cause, which is where the projection is coming from, so that we can decide to not project, but to see innocence instead, Holy Spirit vision. Okay, number 8. Larry.
Number 8. Consider carefully your answer to the last question you have left unanswered still, and let your reason tell you that it must be answered and is answered in the other and is answered in the other three. And then it will be clear to you that as you look on the effects of sin in any form, all you need to do is simply ask yourself, is this what I would see? Do I want this?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because that's asking for what, Larry? A change of mind, right? Because if I'm
correct. Yeah,
seeing in the news all this violence and war, okay, then I'm saying, okay, well, that's my projection. Is this what I would see? Do I really want to see this?
understand.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you were talking with the last paragraph, it seems pretty easy in how to do this and how you see it. And it's not so easy to make it happen. And yet it is that easy if you do make it happen, which it gets complicated again. But it seems like um, if I can just see that there's no separation and all there is love, and that attack doesn't do anything but cause more problems, and that everything is okay the way it is, and my projections are what cause the problems from my perceptions, and perceptions are based on my beliefs, which are based on not truths. Um, it seemed like it'd be real easy, but it gets complicated.
Yes,
And so,
and so what does the course do, Larry? It gives us the lessons.
correct,
Right. And the lessons are practice. So it
correct.
gives us a daily practice for every day of the year, okay, that will help us to put these abstract thoughts into practice. Yeah. So we can actually begin to, what's the word?
Change your mind, change your belief system, know what truth
Yes,
is.
and quote unquote embody them. So in other words, we bring the ideas and then we put them into practice in our everyday
Yeah,
life. Yeah.
yeah.
Precisely because it is difficult. We do need that practice. So that's where the lessons are helpful. Um,
Thank you.
okay. All right. Let's see. Number 9. I guess it's my turn. Okay. This is your one decision. This is the condition for what occurs. Okay, and it's speaking about the question. Is this what I would see? Do I want this? Okay, this is your one decision. This is the condition for what occurs. Is it relevant to how it happens, but not to why? Okay, it is relevant to how it happens, but not to why. Do,
Irrelevant.
Oh, sorry. It is irrelevant to how it happens, but not to why. Okay, so this is kind of like the example I was telling you in my day. I was coming across these things with the dog and and with the woman that was, you know, very upset and angry. Because that's what I was seeing. Okay, and is this what I would see? And do I want this? And so that's why I like to look at those things that show up because that's not what I would want to see. Okay. Um, and so, a- and but therefore, I'm not trying to say, oh, well, gosh, I wonder why that woman was so upset, you know? Oh, I wonder why, that dog came chasing after me. I'm not gonna worry about the why because you can't understand, what's going on in someone else's mind like that. We're just concerned with it is irrelevant to how it happens, but oh, sorry, did I get that turned around? But not to why. Okay. So why it happens is telling me the information that needs to be healed. That's why it happens. So that I can ask this question, is this what I would see? Do I want this? And it's a reminder that you have control of this. And if you choose to see a world without an enemy in which you are not helpless, the means to see it will be given you. Okay? Mhm. Because there was a little bit of fear there, not a lot, but there was still a little bit. That instant that instant I saw the dog like right there. And as I was driving by the woman, because she was on the sidewalk and I was right next to her, and she was kicking and she was going at it with that post, with that signpost. So there was a little bit of, fear of going by. So that's what we want to notice is where there's still fear to be able to release it. Okay. Because I'm seeing that not through the eyes of Holy Spirit vision and love. I'm seeing it through the eyes of separation, of a body attacking a body. Okay. Okay. Number 10, Sonia.
I just want to say just one thing fast. I know we're on time.
That's
That
fine.
last sentence says, and if you choose to see a world without an enemy in which you are not helpless, and you see it given you, it's like I actually live in a world where I don't see an enemy,
Uh-huh.
and and I feel really peaceful. I feel grateful, appreciative for my life. I feel love. I get to extend love. It's a uh, almost perfect place. Not perfect,
Mhm.
but it's a very good place. And yet, all the chaos of the world is still going on around me. But I've made a choice where I don't bring that kind of chaos into my mind. It's almost like I just let it go, like it isn't real. It seems real because it's in the news every day or everything I do, but in my world, it's not real because I'm so far detached from it, and I just concentrate on the good in my life. It's a place that I do feel powerful, and it's almost like I'm sticking my head up my butt, not concerned with what's going on. But of course, Course of Miracles doesn't exist anyway. So for me, it's a place I feel good, and I do see the love of God and the fears of God within my own world, not just in the chaos that gets projected to me by others sometimes. I just want to say that just I don't
Okay.
I eliminate. I don't listen to the news. I
No,
try not to get
no,
involved in decision making. I it's
I
not that I
understand that, Larry. But the only thing you want to be careful with is that you're not dissociating from the fear. Okay, that's the only thing you want to be careful of because, putting your head in the sand is a way of dissociating, of not dealing with the fear that is actually there.
no, you're right.
Yeah. So that's the only thing you want to be aware of because otherwise you're not really releasing the fear and those images are still going to be stuck there.
So what would you do to release the fear?
Well, first you have to be aware and, say this is fear. It's like back in chapter 4, trying to, it gives us the sort of the process of doing it. Let me see if I can find it really fast. It's the first thing is you want to be aware that there's fear there, that that image is bringing up fear. Okay, and then you want to say, okay, then I must be seeing this from a point of separation. It's on page 30. Okay, it's paragraph 7, and it's talking about the corrective steps in undoing error is to know first that the conflict is an expression of fear. Say to yourself that you must somehow have chosen not to love, or the fear could not have arisen. And then the whole process of correction becomes nothing more than a series of pragmatic steps in the larger process of accepting the atonement as the remedy. And these steps may be summarized in this way. Know first that this is fear. Fear arises from a lack of love, and the only remedy for a lack of love is perfect love. And perfect love is the atonement. Okay. So,
Atonement, you mean the forgiveness?
yes. So the atonement is the forgiveness because it's a recognition that there is no separation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I'm seeing, it has nothing to do with that person. It has to do with the stuff in my own mind that needs healing.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you.
y-
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember. Is it Sonia's turn?
Think so?
I think so. Go ahead and read 10.
Why is the final question so important? Reason will tell you why. It is the same as the other three, except in time. The others are decisions that can be made and then unmade and made again. But truth is constant and implies a state where vacillations are impossible. You can desire a world you rule that rules you not, and change your mind. You can desire to exchange your helplessness for power, and lose this same desire as a little glint of sin attracts you. And you can want to see a sinless world and let an enemy tempt you to use the body's eyes and change what you desire.
Okay, so it's making a distinction of these questions up here. Okay, it's saying that the first three are part of time because we can kind of vacillate. We can go back and forth, back and forth with the first three here because it's desire. Do you see that? Do I desire, do I desire a world, a world, a world? And then the last one is, do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? Okay. So the first three have to do with perception here. The world is a world of perception. Okay. And I can go back and forth between true perception and false perception. True perception, false perception, power, powerless, power, helpless. I rule it, I don't rule it. I have enemies, no enemies. Sin, no sin. Okay. So that's perception because I'm judging. I'm judging someone sinful. I'm judging myself sinful. I'm judging someone sinless. I'm judging myself sinless. Okay. I'm judging someone helpless. I'm judging someone powerful or myself. Okay. So it entails judgment. But the fourth one is really a desire to go beyond that level of judgment and perception. Okay. Do I want to see what I denied because it is the truth? Do I want to see the truth? Do I want to see beyond the world of perception where my judgments select what I want to see because that's what I value? That's what I believe in. Do I want to go beyond that level? So that's why it's making that distinction between those questions. Okay, so anything there, Larry or Sonia?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so number 11 here. In content, all the questions are the same. For each one asks if you're willing to exchange the world of sin for what the Holy Spirit sees, since it is this the world of sin denies. And therefore, those who look on sin are seeing the denial of the real world. Yet the last question asks the wish for constancy in your desire to see the real world. So the desire becomes the only one you have. By answering the final question, yes, you add sincerity to the decisions you have already made to all the rest. For only then have you renounced the option to change your mind again. When it is this you do not want, the rest are wholly answered. Um, okay, okay, okay. So, so the last question here, what it's saying is that the first three are talking about changing our mind to see with Holy Spirit vision. Um, okay. And the Holy Spirit vision sees the real world. Okay. But the last question is asking for um, the end of going, back and forth between true perception and false perception. Because it's saying, you know, I only want to see the truth. I no longer value seeing illusion. I no longer value the dream of separation. Um, by answering the final question, quote unquote, yes, You add sincerity to the decisions you have already made to all the rest, for only then have you renounced the option to change your mind again. So, in other words, the last question is a little bit more of uh, it generalizes the process even more, saying, look, only what God creates is real. And what my ego thoughts make, which is a world of separation, none of that is real. And so um, I only want to see the truth. Okay. So that there is a more, that's why it's more constant. And so you're no longer going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so that you're more stable in true perception. That's kind of what I'm understanding here. Uh, yeah. Okay. Number 12. Uh,
Why do you think you are unsure the others have been? Why do you think you are unsure the others have been answered? Could it be necessary they'd be asked? Could it be necessary they'd be asked so often if they had? Until the last decision has been made, the answer is both yes and no. For you have answered yes without perceiving that yes must mean not no. No one decides against this happening, but he may do so if he does not see he does it.
mhm,
And if he sees this happiness as ever changing, now this, now that, and now an elusive shadow attached to nothing, he does decide against it.
mm, mhm,
Hmm,
mhm.
not
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. So this is about why we go back and forth is the because we're holding on to duality rather
Yeah.
than non-duality. So there's still an attraction in our belief that the world has something that would make us happy. So we keep going back and forth because we think we can find happiness in the world somehow, somewhere. Uh, and that's why we see line 6. And if he sees his happiness as ever changing, now this and now that. Uh, okay, we do decide against our true happiness when we value incorrectly the things that are impermanent over the eternal, which is truth. Yeah. So the last question is really asking to be very clear about what we value. Either we are going to value the eternal or the non eternal, which is the world of illusion, and the changing, what is always changing back and forth. And if we believe that our happiness um, is tied to something that happiness is, maybe we confuse happiness with excitement. Excitement comes and go, or maybe we confuse it with fun. Oh yeah, this was fun. But it doesn't last. Okay, I have to do it again. Or we confuse happiness with maybe uh, with getting attention, from people and being in the spotlight, or however it is that we confuse happiness. When we confuse happiness with something that is impermanent, we're not going to be able to stay consistently in true perception. Um, okay, because remember that some of the lessons here talk about happiness, and happiness is basically the same as, let's see, what were some of the lessons? Forgiveness is the key to happiness. That's lesson 121. Okay. So if I don't recognize that my consistent practice of forgiveness is going to be the same as my happiness, I'm not going to be consistent in my practice of forgiveness, and I'm going to be condemning in some situations. And And lesson 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. So it would be offering me perfect happiness. Uh, so let's see, it's all tied to that sense. Yeah. Okay, okay, 13. Oh, did I skip 12?
No, I
Okay.
think you're 13, I think. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on
Yeah, it is 13.
13.
Okay. All right. So I just read. So go ahead, Sonia.
Elusive happiness, or happiness in changing form that shifts with time and place, is an illusion that has no meaning. Happiness must be constant because it is attained by giving up the wish for the inconsistent,
Inconstant.
inconstant. Joy cannot be perceived except through constant vision, and constant vision can be given only those who wish for constancy. The power of the Son of God's desire remains the proof that he is wrong, who sees himself as helpless. Desire what you want, and you will look on it and think it is real. No thought but has the power to release or kill, and none can leave the thinker's mind or leave him unaffected.
Anything, Sonia?
Mm, no, it's just saying that if you want true happiness, you just have to be willing
Happy.
to not vacillate
Hmm.
and just be concrete in your decision
Hmm.
for it.
Yes, and line 5 is linking power to desire. See, the power of the Son of God's desire, okay, remains the proof that he is wrong who sees himself as helpless. Okay, so desire, desire what you want. Okay, and whatever that is, whether it's real or not, whether it's eternal or not eternal, you will look on it and think it is real. So that is the power of belief, right? Because it's valuing. So we only believe what we give value to because we desire it to be true, to be real to us. Um, However, um, not everything that we value is um, true. Okay. So when we value and believe what is not true, okay, we are giving power to, it's using the word kill, but it's basically we're giving desire to destruction, to hate, to attack, to fear. Okay. Or, if we give value to love and forgiveness and mercy, then we are giving power to the release of um, sickness, to the release of all the effects that come from destruction, attack, all of that. Um, and none of that can leave the thinker's mind or leave us unaffected. So that's why that other first paragraph that we read from the last section, Reasons versus Madness, was basically saying that, let's see, let me just go back. Uh, Reason versus Madness. It's basically restating what we are saying here in this last paragraph. Okay. Um, yes. So the power you have over the Son of God is not a threat to his reality, but a test to it. Where could his freedom lie but in himself, if he be really free, if he be free already? And who could bind him but himself if he deny his freedom? Okay. So God is not mocked, no more his son can be imprisoned save by his own desire. Okay, because that is the power of our mind. It's the power of belief. It's what we value. And it is by his own desire that he is freed. Such is his strength and not his weakness. Okay, he is at his own mercy, and where he chooses to be merciful, there is he free. But where he chooses to condemn instead, there is he held prisoner. So that's and those are the effects. It's the effects are freedom or imprisonment. And one is freedom is love and healing, and the other one is fear and sickness. That's what imprisonment is. So that's line 7. No thought but has the power to release or kill. Okay.
I,
All right.
I just want to say one thing. I've been reading some things by the Dalai Lama and uh, another guy, the Nick Tak Han,
Oh yeah.
the Buddhist guy, and they talk very clearly that happiness is a choice. Is
Yes.
that it's always there. We just have to choose to be there, and if it's not there, it's fear, separation.
Yes.
Like you were talking. And
Yes.
so if
Yeah.
we're not happy, it's automatic signal that we've jumped into fear or separation someplace that we don't know about. But happiness isn't something that eludes us. It's something that blocks us. It's one of the blocks to love's presence, the fears
Exactly,
and the
Larry.
separation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if we start looking for it externally, then we're not at the level of cause, and
correct,
so therefore that's seeking and not finding, which
correct.
is
Yeah,
which is more unhappiness.
correct. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, well, thank you, thank you for joining.
Thank you
Until
all.
next
Thank you
time.
all.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, y'all. Always nice.
Yes, you too. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.